In 2018, our family, including myself, Sarah, name changed, my husband Mark, name changed, and our young daughter Lily, name changed, along with Buddy, name changed. Our always cheerful and loyal golden retriever moved into an old house in a quiet suburban area near Athens, Ohio. The house looked normal, a bit run down, but had a decent-sized backyard that bordered a small patch of woods. We liked the privacy and hoped for a peaceful life here. Buddy quickly adapted to the new yard. He spent a lot of time running and exploring every corner. The first few weeks passed peacefully. But then, Buddy started exhibiting strange behaviors. And this strangeness was always directed towards the back of the house. He would be playing normally in the yard, suddenly stop, stare intently at a spot at the end of the yard, near the edge of the woods. His ears would perk up, his body tense, and a low growl would rumble in his throat. This growl was not the sound he made when he saw squirrels or cats. It carried a tone of fear and extreme alertness. Then, he started barking fiercely, frantically, towards the end of the yard, towards the tree line. The barking was repetitive, full of panic, as if trying to drive away something very scary. We went out to see, looked in the direction Buddy was barking, only saw the old fence, some bushes, and the darkness of the small woods. Nothing. We called Buddy's name, trying to calm him, but he wouldn't stop barking and growling, his eyes still fixed on that invisible spot. It was as if he was trying to warn us about something behind the house. Mark said, "Must be a fox or a raccoon in the woods tonight. Honey, his nose is sharp, that's why he senses it." I tried to believe that too. But the fear in Buddy's bark and growl was very real. He wasn't just alert, he was trembling with fear. Gradually, Buddy wouldn't even go out into the yard alone at night anymore. He would stand at the back door, whining, looking out with a scared expression, then looking back at us, as if trying to say, "There's something very scary out there. Don't go." Buddy's fierce barking and growling towards the back of the house became a regular, terrifying part of our lives, especially in the evening and at night. It was haunting and unsettling. One night, as we were sitting in the living room, Buddy suddenly started barking frantically at the large window in the back of the house that overlooked the yard. His barking was full of desperation and anger, accompanied by a low, fearful growl. He clawed at the window, trying to ward off something outside. Mark, being more rational, got up, looking annoyed and worried. "Let me see what's out there that's making him bark like that," he said, walking towards the window. He reached the window, looked out into the dark yard, calling Buddy's name to calm him. I and Lily stood a short distance away, watching. The yard was pitch dark, with only faint moonlight shining down. As Mark was looking out, suddenly, he froze. His eyes went wide. His face, which had been slightly annoyed, turned to one of utter shock. He gasped, a choked sound in his throat. "Sarah, I just saw." His voice was trembling, labored. He couldn't finish the sentence, only raising a shaking finger to point towards the end of the yard. I rushed to his side. Lily held tightly onto my shirt sleeve, her face scared seeing her father's reaction. "What did you see?" I asked urgently. Mark was still staring out, breathing heavily. "A shadow. A white shadow. It glided across, from that tree to that bush over there," he stammered, his voice distorted by fear. "So fast. Not a person. Not an animal either. Just a white streak, gliding." I looked out in the direction he was pointing. The yard was still pitch dark, eerily silent. Nothing was there but Mark's face, the panic in his eyes. It was real. Buddy was still barking frantically at the window, his growling and barking directed at the empty space Mark had just indicated. That white shadow. Mark had seen the thing that Buddy was afraid of. Buddy's fear was not unfounded. Mark's sighting of the white shadow terrifyingly confirmed that Buddy wasn't just barking at empty space. There was something behind our house, something invisible and terrifying that Buddy could see. And now, Mark had also caught a glimpse of. Our fear reached its peak. We decided to research the history of this house and the land behind it. What had happened here in the past? Related to the yard or that small patch of woods? We searched through property records, asked older neighbors in the area, though they were very tight-lipped and avoided questions about the land's old history. We searched old newspaper articles online, local forums, looking for any information about unusual events, deaths, or tragedies that had occurred here. Gradually, we pieced together a story. Many years ago, in the area near our property, a crime had occurred. A young person had been murdered, and the body had been disposed of, hidden somewhere in the small woods or a remote area behind. Details of the crime weren't clear, and perhaps the killer was never caught. Knowing that the land behind our house, where Buddy barked and growled, where Mark saw that white shadow, could be the site of a murder where a body was hidden, made everything horrifyingly clear. That white shadow, was it the spirit of the victim, trapped in the place where they tragically ended their life? After learning this story, the haunting seemed to become more intense. Buddy was almost constantly in a state of alertness and fear when in the house. Always oriented towards the back, his barking and growling were no longer just random reactions. We felt as if he was fighting or trying to prevent something from approaching the house from the back. The haunting was completely focused on the back of the house. The back door, the kitchen window, the living room window overlooking the backyard. Buddy spent most of his time staring at those locations, barking intermittent warnings, or growling low and menacingly. He wouldn't allow anyone in the family near the back door at night, standing in the way and whining if we tried to approach. Sometimes, the white shadow would glide across the end of the yard again, or near the fence, blurry, quick as a flash, but clearly a shape, a white streak gliding in the darkness. Mark saw it again, and this time, he was just as shaken. The feeling of being watched from the back of the house became heavy, constant. We felt as if someone was standing right outside the back door, waiting, looking in. An unexplainable biting coldness often appeared near the back door. Some nights, Buddy's barking was so frantic it was heartbreaking, as if the thing out there was trying to get into the house, or was doing something terrifying right outside. Along with the barking were light scratching sounds on the back door, rustling in the bushes close to the wall, or sounds like someone walking slowly on the grass in the backyard. Buddy wasn't just afraid, he seemed to be trying to protect us, trying to drive away or warn us about that ghostly presence. His eyes, staring into empty space, were full of fear and determination, as if looking directly at death. On one particularly terrifying night, Buddy barked more fiercely than ever at the back door, the growls in his throat full of anger and extreme fear. He lunged at the door, scratching, and then, suddenly, he backed away, whimpering in utter pain and terror, as if he had just been attacked by something invisible. In that moment, we knew we couldn't stay in that house anymore. The fear for Buddy, for Lily, and for ourselves was too great. The thing behind the house, it wasn't just standing still anymore. It was interacting. It was trying to harm our dog. We left the house that very night, abandoning everything. The white shadow behind the house, the bloody secret beneath the earth, and the utter terror that Buddy had seen, had made it impossible for us to stay. We left the old house in Ohio, but the haunting followed us. Buddy needed a long time to recover, but even in our new place, he would sometimes bark at empty space, stare at empty corners, and act scared when near windows looking out into the darkness. His eyes, seeing things that we couldn't, had opened a door to a world of fear for us. Mark and I still often think about the white shadow he saw, about Buddy's warning barks, about the horrifying secret buried behind that house. We know that the spirit of the person who died there has not found peace, still trapped in the place where they tragically ended their life. This story is true. It is what our family experienced when Buddy saw what we couldn't. It taught us that isolation can hide terrifying secrets, and sometimes, our four-legged friends see things that we never want to see, warning us about invisible dangers lurking. If the story of the pet dog seeing the white shadow behind the house sent chills down your spine, if you believe in true horror, spirits trapped by crime, and the ability of animals to see the supernatural world, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for the next videos. There are many other horrifying secrets waiting to be told.